I'm doing all right. I'm getting good grades. The future's so bright.
Guys, we need to put on our shades. Hi, I'm Jevin Savage.
I'm Capri Orton.
I'm Brittany Henry.
And I'm McCall Tebbs.
For our service learning project, we decided to go teach the elementary about why grades are important. We did this through the 1st, 3rd, and 5th grades.
In our elementary school, every grade is divided into 2 classes, so we chose 3 different grades for our 6 hours of service. We started with the 1st grade, and beforehand we went in and started to get to know them, observed how they acted, different mannerisms and things like that. And then we decided to teach them about why grades are so important.
We started out talking about sports. We kind of asked the class who liked sports, since we knew that a lot of them would be interested in sports. And we explained how we all play sports, and if you don't have good grades, then you're not allowed to play the sports. So like if you have below a C, then you're not eligible to play.
The next part on our slide said who likes money, and at this point everybody in the class raised their hand. This part of the slideshow was talking about scholarships and how your grades are really important to get scholarships. We talked about academic scholarships, athletic scholarships, and we also talked about how you can go online and find really any scholarship to apply for because of how expensive college is.
After that, we talked to the kids about being successful. We told them that most jobs look for people who know how to study and get good grades to be able to work in their environment. We told them that you need to know how to study and get good grades in order to become successful in the future.
And kind of just to put this into their brains, we came up with a little poem/song thing. So we took 6 of the individuals out of the classroom and I taught them this little song, and then they came back into the class and taught the rest of the class the song, and afterwards you could see that they were just really thought the song was really funny.
We'll show you guys a video of what the song was and a couple students demonstrating it.
I'm doing alright, I'm getting good grades, the future's so bright, I gotta wear my shades. Run! Run! My name is Melton, I'm 6 and I'm in 1st grade, and I learned about grades and that grades can help you get in other sports and that stuff. Hi, my name is Chelsea. I'm in 1st grade. I've learned about grades, and you have to have good grades or else you won't be able to do sports.
1st grade pictures!
The next grade that we went to was the 3rd grade. I've had the opportunity to be a TA here since August, so I knew them pretty well. I knew that they were more mature than the 1st graders, so rather than teaching them the catchy song that Capri taught them, we had them make posters with slogans on them about good grades. One of the posters that I remember, it was 2 girls and they really liked dancing, so they put dancing into good grades and then had ballerina shoes around the outside of the poster. We then had them hang them up in the hallway to promote good grades to the rest of the elementary.
The next thing we had them do is write down a couple goals on a piece of paper so that they could keep it with them throughout the rest of the year and through elementary and even take it on to high school. And a couple of examples we gave them would be just to always have your homework in on time or even early, or to always be eligible to play sports. And so we just had them write down a couple goals and then we had them share also.
I am Layton and I am in the 3rd grade, and something that I learned about grades today is that getting good grades can get you money for scholarships for college. and it can also help you so you don't get held back in grades and you don't lose friends. And you can also go to good colleges that are pretty cheap, and if you get good enough grades, you can, I forgot what it's called, but you can get these things where they'll just pay for your college for you.
Good job.
Hi, my name is CJ and I am in 3rd grade. And what I learned about grades is that you can get good education and don't have to pay that much money for college and play sports. And if you get a C or lower, you can't get a scholarship.
You guys done?
3rd grade pictures. The last grade we visited was the 5th grade class, and to me, like, I knew them personally because my mom is one of the 5th grade teachers, so it was easier to communicate with them and teach them. We gave them the same slideshow as the 3rd graders, but we think that it hit them differently because they are more mature than the 3rd graders.
We did the same thing as we did with the 3rd graders. We gave all the 5th graders a card to write down goals, and like Jevin said, we could tell that this really hit them harder, and they were paying a lot more attention, and their goals were really specific for themselves. And we had a few of them share them again, and you could just tell that they were really interested in the subject. And we also had them make posters with slogans, and some of them were so creative we couldn't even believe it, and it was really awesome to see how much they learned from this.
My name's Tyson and I learned that getting good grades is important to get a good scholarship. Hi, my name is McKenna. I learned that it's important to keep your grades high so that you can play sports and get into a good college.
5th grade pictures.
The concept that we decided to pay specific attention to is nonverbal communication.
Many kids that go to elementary, some of them talk a lot, some of them don't talk a lot, and we think that communication is a big reason on why people get good grades.
From our point of view, we've noticed that the most outgoing kids seem to be the ones that always are participating and searching for the right answers. But we also noticed that the more quiet ones and closed off also are very smart. They just don't want to show it to others.
A little example to go along with that, my mom teaches 1st grade and I go and be a TA in her class every other day. And there's a little girl who is super smart. She's probably the smartest girl in her class. But you can just tell she's really insecure and she's not super outgoing. She doesn't talk a whole lot, but she is like very, very smart and gets very good grades.
Like Capri said, there are many students that seem closed off and then they end up being some of the smartest kids that you know, and this goes along in high school and just in life. You can notice many different kinds of nonverbal communication by observing different groups of people.
Everyone has different personalities and everyone seems to show their strengths in different ways.
I think that as long as you try in school, you will be successful. There are some kids that are so smart but don't try that have a hard time in school. But there's also kids that aren't that smart but try their hardest and are successful.
We noticed that in the 3rd grade there was this little girl and she wasn't the best at math, so she used a lot of assistants and she also put in the extra work. So her grades overall, she has good grades compared to most of the other kids, but when you actually see her doing the work, you notice how hard it is for her and just how much work she's putting in.
it was really cool for us to see the different types of personalities and different strengths and weaknesses with the children that we worked with. And you can just tell that some people just work so hard and try so hard to get good grades, and there's others that just don't really care, but they still get good grades just because they're the smarter kids in class. So it was just different for us to see that contrast of kids.
Not only have we noticed the personalities of nonverbal communicators throughout these 3 classes that we went to, we've noticed it through our fellow classmates throughout our whole years of high school, and this was really why we decided to teach about the importance of grades. We just wanted every student to realize their potential and wanted them to know that they can get good grades.
When we went to the first grade, we noticed that whenever we asked a question, all of the kids shot up their hands immediately, and they wanted to be the ones that were called on even if they didn't know the answer, and they just wanted to participate a lot, and they had a lot of fun with what we were teaching them.
Then we went to the 3rd grade, like we mentioned earlier, and here we noticed that everybody still shot up their hands, but when they were called on, most of them could put together an answer that kind of made sense. And when we were doing everything, they kind of were just super creative, and we noticed that they could think and comprehend more of what we were saying than the 1st graders.
As for the 5th grade, we noticed that they were a lot more self-aware, and they didn't just raise their hands and answer a question because they answered because they knew the answer. And we also noticed that they realized that in a few years they're actually going to have to work harder for their grades, and it's going to go on their records. So it hit them harder because they needed to realize that they have to do this in the future.
As a result, I've realized that by doing this project, I want to make a difference in kids' lives like teachers do. For example, like when I was in elementary, I remember all of my elementary school teachers and how they impacted my life, and I just know that I want to make a difference in kids' lives.
What I've learned from this project is being a teacher is really hard. You have to be able to make sure that the kids understand you. You have to keep their attention. And something that I noticed when we were in the 1st grade class is a lot of them don't understand like the everyday words that we use in our normal talking. So you have to really go down to their levels in order for them to understand.
I learned more about like getting good grades. Like I already knew a lot about it obviously since I'm a senior in high school, but I still have to go through college, and I just learned how important good study habits are, and it just kind of like woke me up a little bit about how I need to be focused for college. And I also learned more about teaching younger children, and I think that will prepare me to be a mother someday and teach my kids.
Going along the same lines as Brittany, I've just been more open to working on my study skills through doing this service project. And as a result, we all want to just challenge all of you to keep working on your study skills. There's always room for improvement. We all have been subject to procrastination and things like that. So I think that as we all try to work on these study skills and habits, we can improve our learning abilities.
And you can use these skills throughout the rest of your life, so just make sure to keep practicing them.
Don't forget to get good grades and wear your shades. Thanks for watching.